call the meeting.
Commissioner Collette? Here. Commissioner Meeks?
Here.
Commissioner Schmidt?
Here.
Commissioner Hannah?
Here.
Commissioner White?
Here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any additions, changes to the agenda?
No.
Somebody keeps shutting that door.
Any citizens' comments?
These would be
Pertaining?
non-agenda.
Any non-agenda citizens' comments? Anybody?
Read the comment here.
Hearing none, onto the consent agenda.
I move to accept the recommendation of the Administration and Finance Committee to approve the minutes of the Committee of the Whole on April 4th, 2018, the Budget and Appropriation Public Hearing on April 18th, 2018, and the Board meeting held on April 18th, 2018, and the financial reports, which includes the cash on hand and the budget report dated April 30th, 2018, and the voucher list dated May 16th, 2018, in the amount of $128,711.86.
I'll second. Any discussion? Hearing none? Vote.
Commissioner Meeks?
Aye.
Commissioner Schmidt? Commissioner Hannah?
Aye.
Commissioner White?
Aye.
Commissioner Collette? Aye.
And director's report.
Yes, so this is our first and only meeting in May, so welcome back. It's been a while. I'm not sure what you guys feel about it, but you know, if you could, anytime in the next couple of days, send me your thoughts if this is what you want us to do. To shift from 2 meetings a month to 1 meeting, we can certainly do that. We do have a calendar that has been published that we will need to put out notice 10 days in advance of the next meeting that we've changed the timing of our meetings, just stuff that we're required to do. So just send me your thoughts. Several items here. Life Source and the Park District will be having a blood drive this Saturday from 10 a.m. To 4 p.m. It's a nice little catchy thing where if you give a pint, you get a pint of Culver's ice cream. So it's pretty clever. Kind of excited about that. And they did tell me that they are looking for donors. So if we could pass the word around to anybody that is able to donate, that would be great for them to stop by on Saturday. The annual dance recital is this Sunday at Maine East High School from 12 to 2. This is where the dancers get to showcase everything that they've learned over the last several months in the spring and winter and fall programming. So it is really a great event. The auditorium is full. It is just great to see that kids get to put on a show for their parents. It's a wonderful event. The early bird discount for pool membership passes has been extended. The discount has been extended until May 25th, so you can purchase now anytime before the 25th to continue to save 5% off of that membership. Oriole Pool opens on Saturday, May 26th, and that weekend they will operate from the hours of 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. From the 29th through June 1st, that's the weekday, they will only operate from 4 to 8 p.m. June 2nd, both Oriole and Harpool will open, and they will have their regular hours. If anyone has questions about what those hours, they can either call the front desk or they go online. And lastly, I am excited to introduce Mary Mucci. She is our new recent college graduate aquatic supervisor. She takes over for Jeanette, who is taking over dance and cultural arts. So just want to give an opportunity for Mary to meet everyone here. And Mary, yeah, maybe you could say a few things about yourself for that.
Thanks for having me here, first off. I graduated from ISU this past Saturday with a recreation management major and an athletic coaching minor. I've worked for the Park District part-time for about 5 years, so I already know a lot of people here and I have a good grip on the pools. And I hope to have a safe and exciting summer.
I gotta tell you, getting Mary was awesome for us, because there are a lot of aquatic supervisor positions out in park districts. They're all looking for aquatic supervisors. So for us to get Mary, who was interviewing at one other place, a local nearby park district for aquatic supervisor, and an internship for us to be able to get her, we were very fortunate. So, and for her to have the experience that she does with our pools is even
Thank you.
plus.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Great, that concludes my report.
Any attorneys report?
No, but I did talk to him prior to the meeting, and he didn't have any problems with the packet. So.
New business,
Nope.
recreational.
We got department head reports. I know it's kind of new. I threw that in on you. So we're just trying to do something a little bit different. I know that in the back of your packet, the staff provides a board update, but I thought it would be a great opportunity to try this, since we've gone to one meeting, to actually have the department head stand up and kind of give you a report about what's going on in their areas of responsibility. So we'll go seniority down. So Laura, you're up first.
So obviously we're very busy hiring seasonal staff right now and completing the paperwork, the appropriate paperwork for both rehires and new hires. And with that comes a lot of training. So we're doing general orientations and customer service training, harassment, safety. So CPR, so there's a lot of trainings coming up between aquatics and camp. We finished the annual evaluation process in April. Everything went well. Ran driver's license abstracts on all staff. And probably the most important thing that I'm doing right now is every 4 years, Derma conducts a loss review for the Park District, and it's a year-long process of documentation and assessments that they do per department, so it goes on all year. We just completed in April the administrative portion, and then in June we'll do recreation and aquatics and parks in August, and then we finish up with park police. Then they use all this to promote safety and compliance, and then they take the results and they try to look at the trends and see, compared to other park districts, our losses, which way they're going, and if there is new trends or evaluations, that it's across the board. So I don't know, Derma basically has about 90, if not more, percent of the Illinois park districts under them. So it's a nice compromise as far as looking at everyone overall.
Marty?
Hello. We're working on a couple of things. We have a lot of projects that are ongoing right now today, as well as some in the future. Right now, we're getting ready to close out the year, or we have closed out the year for our financials. April 30th is our fiscal year end. So we're running reports and we're reconciling accounts, as well as closing out old accounts and reopening up the new accounts with the new budget that you have just approved last board committee meeting. Also, we are expecting the auditors to be here at about the end of June. We expect them to be over here, so they may be asking questions. They may have different questionnaires. They may have information they may need, as well as going through board agendas, board minutes as part of their process. And in the future, the next few months, we're getting ready to, we're working with a new financial software, BSNA. They're going to replace AEK, which is our old current system, and it should be make it more user-friendly to the people who want to look up information. And then finally, we're just getting ready to have the pools running. We put the original computers back down into the pools, and we ran printers and set up banks and set up user IDs so that when Oreo opens up at the Memorial Day, we'll be ready for the next one.
Keith?
Pioneer Park, we're still waiting on permits to get going out in Pioneer. We did take delivery on the playground equipment, so as soon as the permits come in, we're ready to go. Starting out at Pioneer. Pioneer is probably about a month, or about 4 to 5 weeks of work, so once we do get going on, it should be relatively quick to get that project complete. The path at our park is going to start up on Friday. That's roughly about 2 weeks of work, depending on the weather, from start to finish. So we anticipate having that ready before the pool opens in June. On Monday, we are going to do the lining and the pipe that we were talking about, going from the main drain out to the sump area. And we applied for an incentive program. We applied for an incentive program that ComEd is going on for the variable frequency drive that we're going to put on the pump out at HAR. Our application is in ComEd, and if they approve it, we're looking at about $3,000 incentive for putting the VFD in, which will probably cover about half the cost of the installation and the actual component itself. Oreo Pool, we have a lot of work going on out there right now to get that ready to open up in the next week. And the weather's finally starting to cooperate with us. So we're getting everything hot and heavy outside in the parks right now.
Great. Thank you. I can tell you, let me just, step in recreation. We've got Mary's coming on board, so we're going to be working, I'll be working with her, making sure that she gets up to speed, as well as Jeanette kind of directly supervising her to make sure that everything with the aquatics is on board. The search for a superintendent of recreation has been put on hold, so that we can reevaluate how we have the position structured, and that we will go and repost in fall to see if we can get some more interest in the position. Planning for all the special events are in the works. The first big event that we have coming up is, I believe, a Tuesday night summer concert series, but work on the summer, Sizzle in the Summer is going on track. We also will be having a meeting with the the Holidays Committee to talk about the changes that we anticipate doing with the event itself. We've gotten strong commitments from our partners for supporting changing the hours on Saturday from 11 to 2:30 to go from 3 to 6:30, so that we could actually move the tree lighting ceremony from Friday night to Saturday, just have some better continuity. It does give the village more opportunity to drive Santa around more areas of the community, as well as not just kind of rushing to and fro. So it sounds like it's really good. The farmers market's on board about having their vendors come in the afternoon, so it sounds pretty good.
As far as the recreation is concerned, I was kind of glad to hear Jeff say that he wanted to take a step back and kind of reevaluate instead of rushing into it, make sure we have the right fit. Exactly.
Through kudos to staff for stepping up and taking over too. It's a lot.
And it's a lot of us to ask to keep doing that, but I think everybody will benefit in the long run, and it should be good. Now on to new business.
New business. So, heard a little bit of rumor that there's some concern about the new fee structure to mostly the senior memberships down at Club Fitness. We actually instituted those changes last year, but because of the way it fell, some people renewed before that change, so this year they're coming to see that. We kind of talked about that when we made that change, that there would be some inquiry a year or so later after we did that. So this gives us an opportunity. What we did was, since we heard the rumors, we decided to send out a email, an e-blast to only senior members, because it's really pertains to senior members who have that membership. We invite them to come in. Gives us an opportunity to provide some background as to what those changes are, why we decided to make those changes, and then at the end, allow them an opportunity to address the board on this topic. So again, we're going to talk about some history of where we got to this point in time. Again, these recent changes and opportunities. So, as you can see, from beginning spring of 2013 to actually now spring of 2018, we have been dealing with various fee structures and concerns from members down at the fitness center. So in the spring of 2017, a little bit, probably I think it was January or February or March, we had group exercise participants come in and address the board. They were very unhappy with the way that we structured specialty classes or group exercise classes. Why did they have to pay, a membership for this and a membership for the fitness center? So that provided us an opportunity to sit down and really try to solve this problem. So Joe, Laura, Sue and I sat down at the table in this boardroom and said, okay, we have to figure out the best way to structure membership fees at Club Fitness so we don't continually come back to this every time, something happens, we make a change, people get dissatisfied, we have to make reasonable changes. Oh, sorry, that's not what I wanted. So, there we go. Sorry. So, we decided that we weren't going to just solve the group exercise problem. We were going to look at the facility in a larger picture so that we can correct everything that we thought was going that was of concern to not just group exercise but to everyone. So we came up with a fee structure. Okay, so before we made that change, here's the fees, and here are the fees afterwards. And I know this isn't a great slide, so this just kind of lays out, this is what the structure is. Sorry, Paul. So everybody can see that? Okay, we'll get into a little bit more detail at another slide. So how did we determine this? I mean, we just didn't kind of sit down at the table and say, hey, we need to increase this fee, we need to increase those fees. So we actually, Joe went and he got all the information from surrounding facilities that he could. Like there's some private groups out there that they're not able to get that information, and we were able to get LA Fitness, and then we can see these structures. Now, understand that this is 2017 information, because this is the information that we use to make our determination. So, someone can go and say, well, wait a second, I know that fee's higher than that. This is a snapshot time of what we were using to determine those fees. And you can kind of see, here we're not the highest, because there's some big differences here, and we're not the lowest, okay, at that point in time. So we use this market analysis, and we do that for a lot of different programs, preschools, camps, aquatics. You can't make a decision of how we're going to be in the market if we don't know where we are in the market. So, if we're really low, there's a little bit more opportunity to increase fees. If we're really high, then we know that we're going to have to back off on that until the market can sort of equalize itself. So this is sort of what we did here. So, and I know one point I should really make out, some of these are all-inclusive membership, type of memberships, where ours is at this 287 was just basically just the club fitness. Okay.
Jeff, can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Yeah.
If anybody has a question or anything at any point where Jeff's at, if you just want to raise your hand, so we can address it as we're going.
So in addition to the fees, there were a lot of other things that we decided that we should correct. Like, we needed to include the group exercise into a membership. So now, when you get an annual membership, you get not only the fitness club, you get group exercise. Yes, I know that we understand that there were some people that, look, I'm just going to use the fitness center, I'm not going to use group exercise. We get that. There's people in group exercise that aren't going to use the fitness center, and so it kind of balances it out. However, that is the trend that we found in the market area, that everything's all-inclusive. They don't want to pay these cafeteria-style payment plans where you pay extra for this, pay extra for this. They just wanted one nice little fee. Yeah.
Jeff, when you raised the price here, you included a bunch of items in there. It's basically, there's an extra $43. This is for, obviously I'm a senior citizen, I'm an old person.
Yeah.
So my wife and I, we paid approximately $390 a year for our membership. Now, looking in your catalog here, you're giving us extra benefits that the value of that is $43. We don't use this. This is very similar to the affordable health care plan where they say, look at all this insurance you're going to get. It might cost you a little bit more. My wife and I were elated to know we're going to get free birth control and she's going to get free maternity service. We're not going to use it, so why should I pay for it?
Okay,
What I'm asking is 2 levels of membership. A basic membership for one without the $43 worth of benefits, and a deluxe membership. If you want it, you pay for it, because I don't like paying for things I don't use.
yeah, so just to comment on that, so you're a homeowner.
Obviously, and I pay hundreds of dollars in real estate.
Right, and part of that real estate is the schools, and you don't pay for, you don't use it like
Just
schools.
for the parks.
I'm saying that there's certain
I have
things.
I have an obligation to provide an education for children.
Sure.
I don't have an obligation to provide all the extra benefits to other senior citizens.
Okay, there's another slide that goes into a little bit of detail as you can kind of see the comparison from the changes, okay? But let me continue on to say that there are other things as well. We redefined the differences between group exercise and specialty classes, where now more of them are specialty classes, group exercise. So there was an additional fee for the specialty class. So we structured it a little bit different and said that specialty classes are anything that are off-site or more than 60 minutes. I was going to say 75. So we also increased the group exercise offerings. We defined what a school and college age, or what those students are. In the past, we didn't do that. So you could come in here and just show an ID. I still have my college ID. I could take that to the front desk and say I'm a college student, I get a discount. So we had to make sure that we put some fencing around that. We defined daytime membership as by entry time. So in the past, you can purchase a daytime membership and come in at 6:30 in the morning, that prime time workout time. And that's typically not really done. They're called matinee passes. They're usually from like 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., 4 p.m., all over the board, but in those areas. So we defined that as well, because that was kind of a loophole that people were getting, so we thought we'd change that too. We standardized the discount that we gave to seniors, and we standardized the additional members for the same household. Okay. So, when we look at the memberships here, before the changes and after the changes, we looked at, $287 for an individual, $325 after the changes for a 13% increase, or a difference of $3 a month. Senior memberships was actually from, 27.5% discount from the individual rate, okay? But when you look across senior membership, 15% increase, 7% or $7 an additional per month. So when you go down to a family of two, and then the couple, a family of two discounted $23.50, not a problem, pretty easy. But the increase, $3 a month or $6 a month, depending on that increase, okay? So these numbers here, still, you got the 20% discount. And what we struggled with was, what do we do for a family that has more than one person that come to the fitness center? So we said that an individual is going to pay the full, the full membership. Each individual after that pays 50%. So that's how we got to this part here. So you got the 488, I'll back up here, I'm sorry. The 325, and then you add the, 260. You add the 260, half of that is 130, that's how we got the 390, okay? So we've taken this price structure and we moved that also into the pools. Because I'm not sure the logic or the reason that we got to that point, but the discounts were sort of all over the place. There was no consistency. There was absolutely no fairness to this whatsoever. So that's sort of the reason that we got to where we're at right now. We don't have a lot of, the price structure is, we wanted to keep it short, not so tall that we're not, doing memberships like you were suggesting, a deluxe membership, a basic membership. It's kind of an accounting sort of nightmare. It's a policing nightmare, at least in my experience has been when you're offering one product, but people are using it differently. We can't do that. So when you look at the daytime membership, we know that there's only a certain time of the day that they're allowed to be in the fitness center. So we know based on the way they scan in that we can just say, you're going to have to wait 45 minutes before you come in, or we know that, we usually let them finish their workout rather than trying to kick them out at 3:30. But that was the idea. So taking that again to the aquatics, we had families of 7. Was that right? Family of 7, and it was people were like, well, I only have 5 people. I'll add a cousin, a nephew, that kind of stuff. So when we put in this a little bit more, they're only going to use what they need. There isn't any fluff in there or opportunity to sort of skirt the system. So that's why we did that. So I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Not really. That's a pretty big screen there. I can't see why you can't put another membership level in there. That's a pretty big screen there. You could put a whole list of 8 membership levels in there. I'm only asking for one more.
No, that's something that you want to.
I'm asking for
well,
a basic.
This is, I know. I mean, the screen's. I know you're being funny, and I appreciate that. I love humor. We just didn't think that it was. Again, it was.
Have you given any value to the members you're going to lose? I do not see the people working out now that I did in the past. Some of them don't like it, but it's up to them. I speak for myself.
No.
It's up to them to get up here and voice your opinion. This is not the first time I've voiced this opinion.
Sure. So I have 2 things to say about that. We've seen month over month increase in memberships. So is there a possibility now that some people will go? That's true. Okay, you could. If you wanted to go to LA Fitness, as a couple, you pay one fee. There is only one fee for Club Fitness. I'm sorry, not Club Fitness. For LA Fitness. So there's actually an advantage to stay with the park district. Sorry, let me get to that. You know what?
I like the park district. My wife and I have been members for 20 years, but in the last 9 months, there have been a couple changes that really bother me. I'll bring this up now because I just want to touch on this. A lot of people don't like the new equipment. There's equipment I cannot physically use, but I will talk to somebody else about that. And the second thing is this price increase. That's a $70 a year increase. Now, what if you're on a fixed income and you have to pay all your other taxes? You're on a fixed income with no pension, and you've got to pay your taxes to pay pensions to all of these other people that have them. You know, there's only so much money. I hope when you become a senior citizen, you're not going to be on a fixed income. If you stay here long enough, you should have a decent pension from here that I'm going to pay for. Because remember one thing, I'm a taxpayer. All of you work for me, and all the old people living in Morton Grove. Because if we get ticked off enough, we vote.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So, and I'm curious because I want
Yes.
to understand. I'm a little bit new. I mean, I've
That's
lived
fine.
in Morton Grove for a long time, but
Yes.
obviously you're pretty passionate about this.
Yes.
You know, you seem to not like the equipment, the changes to the equipment.
I can't use it. I physically
Okay, I get it. I
can't
get
use
it.
it.
I'm trying to understand.
Yes.
And you said the membership, you know, is higher. You don't like the $7 a month increase. But what makes you want to stay then? What is it that you like about it?
I've got to use the equipment to keep moving. My physical health right now, you know.
But here, what makes you want to stay here versus somewhere else?
I support Morton Grove. It could be real easy for me to say, the hell with the park district, I'll go someplace else. I take care of my own, and sometimes you gotta ruffle some feathers. You know, I believe in taking care of your own. I support Morton Grove. If you have an arrangement with other suburbs, so everybody pays the resident fee, I don't care about that. Because at one time you used to have a double fee structure. You had resident and non-resident. You don't have that anymore. Now, I believe you have arrangements with other municipalities that nobody charges any more than the resident fee if you want to go there. That's fine. That's fine. I don't care about it. I'm only concerned about Morton Grove. Yes, I'm passionate about it.
Yeah, so we do have agreements with
Yes.
with Niles.
Yes.
Yeah, so on a couple of things where we don't charge their residents, they don't charge our residents. For like,
That's the only program in the catalog where you do that. That's the only program in the catalog. I've got the catalog here where everything is based on resident and non-resident. Even the daily use fee for Club Fitness, there's a resident and non-resident fee. So right now,
we
I
don't charge for Club Fitness a non-resident fee.
no,
We're trying to-
you did. You don't do it anymore.
That's correct.
Yes, because you have an arrangement with other communities.
No,
No, you don't?
no, the reason why we don't charge a non-resident for the fitness center was because we purposely took that away in order to make Club Fitness more attractive. The more people that we have in the fitness center, the more
Okay.
viable it is, because it needs to stand on its own. This is
Yes.
conversation that we've had about several different, or other things, I just don't really remember that. So the more people that we have coming into that, it obviously offsets the expenses related to operating it. It's not an enterprise fund, but we try to treat it that way.
To the other trustees, question. When you get to my age, you look forward to seeing certain people here.
Yep.
That's
It's a
another
family.
thing. That's another thing. Now, there's a lot of people who are upset about the fee structure, but they're not here. Like I said before,
Sure.
I speak for myself. You know, I can't speak for anybody else. If they don't want to come here and voice their opinion, you know, I can't do anything about that. I still feel if push comes to shove, you can have a dual membership in there. Because you're giving me a $43 discount a year that I don't use. You know, it would be nice if there were 2 levels of senior family membership. But I understand your frustrations in trying to, you do a balancing act. You're not the only one. You have a very good staff here. That's another reason why you come back, because I think a lot of the staff here, especially the attendants in the fitness center, you have one of the best bunch of people around here.
Thank you.
So, you know, I'm passionate about that.
Yeah, so yeah.
I was just gonna ask if you could state your name so we can address you.
Ken Vianney.
Ken,
Been
you
living
know,
in Morton Grove for 40 years. My name and address are down on the sheet over there.
Thank you.
Sue has my email address.
you know, it's interesting because I remember we were having this conversation last year where, you know, there were folks that came in from Morton Grove who were upset that they weren't getting the best bang for their buck because, you know, the memberships weren't encompassing everything. So we ran into that argument there.
Well, there should
And
be
then-
another level. I mean, it's just like anything else. If you go to a restaurant, you want an a la carte meal, that's what you want. If you want a full dinner, you have to pay more for it.
What I'm saying is, last year we had that argument, right? And then we
Yes.
tried to accommodate.
I
You know, I hear what you're
understand
saying, and I think it sounds like the $6 a month is something that you're paying for things that you're not using,
It's
and that's the sticking
It's the
point.
principle, too.
But it's the sticking point, right? The
Yes,
stick- okay.
yes.
I just want to understand so that
Yes.
we can discuss intelligence.
It's just like you pay for what you use. If you want to use a lot of electricity, you get a big electric bill. They don't average up your whole block and everybody pays a portion of it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so again, let's go back to the market analysis. So one of the things that we did, we looked at, okay, so this says just their annual membership. What's not included on here is the non-resident fees. So we're just looking at a resident-to-resident comparison. This is it. But then when you take in, like if I wanted to go to Niles, it would be, or if I wanted to go to Skokie, or the fitness center for that matter, Park Ridge, you're paying a non-resident fee. So, you know, so there really isn't, for us, there really isn't a substitution much of one. I mean, you can go to Planet Fitness. I think we're a little bit more quality facility than that, or you can go over to LA Fitness, but LA Fitness, I mean, everybody's charged the same amount.
There's no senior
There's
discount. at
no
Planet
senior,
Fitness
no
or-
family discount, anything like that.
How
So,
about, you know, this has just come up, so, you know, no one's not gonna have the answer right now, but have we checked with the other park districts to see their difference in senior discounts?
yeah, so it's a little all over the board, and we're in the middle. I think I checked a few the other day, and it can go as low as 18% to as high as 25%. So we went with the 20%. Yeah, I mean, we brought that to when we were discussing that you know the different various options, but when we presented 3 different pricing structures, and this was sort of the middle of the road. But when we looked at the budget, for that, this is the one thing that would keep us at a break even. So, you know, that's another reason why we chose to go this route.
So I don't know if the timing is good to bring this up right now, but in our packets, we had an update comparing April 2017 to 2018. Our fitness club members is up 965 compared to 789 last year. And our membership renewals are up to 124 as compared to 77 last year.
Right. we are, I mean, those, I'm pretty confident those numbers are good, but we, you know, we, in the past, Mark probably knows better than anyone, that we've had concerns about the, yeah, those numbers. Just in general, not
Right.
fitness, but
Right.
just, yeah, the quality of that data. So, yes, we are, you know, doing that, because when you really look at the options available to you, we're still a great value.
And sir, if I could add to it, I'm here every morning pretty much at 5 a.m. and I see the same people every morning, and you know, I always got my ear open. If someone's complaining about something, I'd like to address it, and I haven't heard anything. Now, you can't please everybody, I know that, but I have not heard from anybody coming up to me and saying, what's going on with the rates? Why have they gone up? I don't know.
As I said, a lot of people will talk amongst themselves, but they won't do anything about it. I believe in having an open and honest discussion here, because it helps all of us.
We appreciate you coming
Instead
here
of
and
one
speaking
day,
up.
25 senior citizens get together and we're leaving. Because if you look at your senior members here, I mean, you have an outstanding array of people.
No question.
You have, I mean, people who could tell you about history for the past 7 years that would enlighten your whole lives. And you don't want to lose these people. And a lot of them come here because of the camaraderie.
Yes.
Because they like to see the same people. And what I'm doing is, I want to keep this going too. You may not agree with the way I'm doing it, but you got to have somebody chewing on you a little bit from time to time. I don't leave any marks, but I chew a little bit.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, no, we, you know, you've heard this maybe from some other place, we value our members more than their membership. So that's why Sue does an outstanding job of making sure that we do, you know, appreciation days, we give out giveaways, we have vendors come in, and you know, you've seen the budget. For the next X amount of years, we're putting $40,000 into the fitness center. We replaced the equipment. I'm sorry that you don't like it, but we have done that. We're going to be doing treadmills and ellipticals, and we're going to be doing the flooring and any opportunity that we can. Yeah.
Do not replace the Schwinn airline.
Yeah.
Do not.
That has been a
So-
request for
Do
years,
not-
right?
do not-
I tell ya.
So,
I've got one artificial knee.
yeah.
My left hip is starting to act up, and that's what keeps me going, is that bike.
Sure. So
That's what
one
keeps,
of yeah.
that's the one main piece of equipment here.
Okay. Yeah. So one of the things that Sue had, I guess you went to Niles, was that, and saw that new.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet, no.
Okay,
I'm
so-
gonna go.
Sue's been talking to other fitness, and they were like pieces that are really popular over there. She's going to try to bring over here, but we've talked about how we need to demo whatever we're going to bring in here so people can try it out and stuff like that. But this is it's not an enterprise fund, but we treat it like that. But we are supporting it, but at a cost that we're going to be supporting everything else. So it's a revenue stream. So when we look at capital, we support revenue streams. If it improves life safety, if the piece of equipment has exceeded its life expectancy and is requiring more maintenance than anything else, that's what we do. But because right now the fitness center is somewhat of a revenue stream, we're keeping money in it. Because again, if we're not investing in it, people are going to go elsewhere. They want it, not the newest and latest, but they want to know that we're keeping up with it.
Not only
and
elsewhere,
things like
but that kind of then increases the cost, and that increase reflects back onto you. So what we're trying to do is even that keel for everybody concerned, so that we can keep updating equipment in the fitness center itself, the locker rooms, all that. That revenue has to come from somewhere, and I'd rather do it through fees than through taxes.
I believe in the past, the membership could go up around $25 a year. And if you subtract that 43 from the 390, you're starting to get close to that.
Yeah, so thank you for mentioning that. That is something that Sue reminded me, we're not increasing fees for this year. So there is a little bit of a reprieve. I know that's kind of hard to, could we have spread it out over two? Yeah, but we hit them.
Well, that was our goal
Kind
for
of
all
balances
that
out.
too. Our goal was to kind of level it off to where we didn't have to raise these fees every year, hopefully every 4 or 5 years. And by replacing the equipment, we're extending the life of it to where we're not costly repairs and trying to make something work as the Schwinn bikes. We had a hard time finding parts for those. So now Sue's looking at different alternatives that work the similar way for what you need it for as well as other people.
Sue and I had a long discussion about this.
Good.
The old Schwinn Airdyne bike,
Are the best.
no, the old one, no, the new one is the best, the one that you have now.
Oh, yeah, the one we have now.
No, no, but the old one, I can fix it,
Right.
but I won't, I don't have liability insurance.
Yeah.
And I believe your shop could fix it, but they don't get paid to do that. Because if you're talking bearings and sprockets, we can do that, even if we have to make bushings and more stuff. Anyway, I'm not getting it into
Yeah,
that.
we're not certified to do that, to make that change and that liability.
Yes, I understand that.
We do that too,
I
so,
understand that.
yeah, so, does any other guests want to say anything? No? Okay, do we have any questions?
We don't need Laura's blood pressure.
Yeah.
Just jump on Twitter.
Ken, I just want to
So-
say, I appreciate you coming. I had
me
a few
too.
phone calls and a lot of the emails that I got, I responded to. There was a couple of voicemails that I couldn't understand, it was very garbled. So
Yes.
I'm glad you came, I wish more people would have come.
Yes.
We're not gonna, we bite, but we don't leave marks either. So if you could pass the word on to them to use our emails if they're not comfortable face to face.
Yes. Well,
would
I felt an
appreciate that.
email is an email, but I think I leave a different impression coming here.
Right.
Just like when some of your staff sees me going into her office and she goes, no.
But we still love you.
How about we meet in the middle and make sure the Schwinn bike doesn't go away?
No, the newer one shouldn't,
The
the
new one-
newer
the new
one
one
shouldn't
should.
go away for a while, as long as they're properly maintained, which they are. Every 6 months, you gotta lubricate those things, you gotta tension the chains right in there. If you don't, you just trash the thing, you grind it all up.
So your input is important, and about how many seniors do you think are in that little group that are complaining, or whatever you want to call it?
10,
Okay. So that's,
my main complaint with some of the new equipment is I physically can't use it, but I'm not gonna get into my personal issues. If you want me to talk to somebody about that, I
well,
will.
there's alternatives to that some of the equipment we have, we're trying, again, to please everybody, and that's very hard to do. But if you have seen things out there or alternatives, or
I will
something that
address
would
it
work.
to Sue. I
Right.
will address it
I
to
would-
Sue.
Right. And then she'll bring it forward to us, and, that's a good starting point.
Yes, because we all have to work together.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I have to get your attention first. I think I've done that today.
Well, yeah, we don't want to raise fees, we do our
I
best not
understand
to.
that. I
And
understand.
We looked at this
understand
very
that.
hard, back when we were discussing it, and there was many discussions, long discussions about it. And we felt this was the best way we could do it without doing a huge impact on everyone, including the seniors. So,
You all do a great job here, but you don't get any thanks for it. Thank all of you from the bottom of my heart, the staff here, for everything that you do, and I will applaud you.
thank you.
Thank you. I just want to clarify, I mean, we'd love to be able to keep prices the same, but then, things go up.
Right.
Pay, salaries, benefits, liability insurance, all that stuff, and we have to keep pace with that as well. So we just have to, again, balance that out. So if we're not increasing it on one side, we've got to either decrease it or look for other areas to improve. So Dorothy had a question. Yeah, Dorothy?
Are there any resources that you're aware of in the town that can assist with seniors with these fees, or AARP or anything? I know personally, when I was looking to join membership, I found that Blue Cross Blue Shield, my insurance, had a great program. So I was able to join at a very low rate, so I wasn't sure if you offer these kinds of.
Well,
We accept silver seniors. Okay, so if there are, if there are ways for us to pass on these resources to the seniors so that they can bring those costs.
Yeah, so we are at a Silver Sneaker facility, so if someone is interested in that, seeing if they qualify, they can go see Sue about that, because it's really based on
You have
their.
to contact your insurance company.
Yeah.
You have to see if it's part of your insurance.
Right,
Okay.
right. Now, I'm not sure, Marty, financial aid through the township or anything like that is, you know, if anything, I know in some cases, you know, before and after school care sometimes qualify. I don't think fitness does, but that's always something to check out as well.
But the silver sneakers,
Just wait and check.
Yeah,
okay, just wasn't sure if they were aware.
yeah.
Ken, is that an option for you, silver sneakers, or
I
no?
don't know, because my primary insurance is Medicare.
Yeah.
It's my primary insurance. I will talk to Sue about that.
Please do.
Yeah,
See
there
if
could be
there's
a way
a-
through, I'm in that business, there could be a way through insurance that you can.
Anybody, anybody else?
Yes, you will.
Question? Comments?
Nothing, guys? Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Ken. Appreciate it.
Okay, moving on to administration and finance, Commissioner Wood.
Okay, so tonight we have the board officers and committee assignments.
Yeah, so, just a quick, let's just go down the list here. Do we have a nomination or nominations for board president?
Yes, I will make a motion to elect Steve Schmidt as the Morton Grove Park District Board of Commissioners president.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none.
Wait, do you want to do this?
But you want to do it as a whole?
Yeah, that way, I mean, we would have to go and do a roll call of every single one, so.
Okay.
Vice president?
I nominate Paul Meeks.
Second.
All right. Treasurer?
I nominate Keith White.
All right. And then chair for the Recreation Facility Program Committee?
I make a motion to nominate.
Oh, wait, I didn't get, I'm sorry, I thought I did. I heard a second
I'll
for
second.
Keith White?
I'll second.
Okay, sorry.
For Rex facility, I make a motion to nominate Dorothy Club.
I'll second.
Parks and
And
Facility.
then for Parks and Facility, I make a motion to nominate Mark Mano.
Second.
And then for Admin and Finance, I make a motion to nominate Keith White.
Second.
And then for Manasser, I make a motion to nominate Jeff Waite
Second.
with Marty as an alternate. And then for the museum, I nominate Mark Mano.
Second.
And then for baseball and softball, I make a motion to nominate Dorothy Coletta.
Second.
And then for AYSO, I make a motion to nominate Paul Hicks.
I'll second.
Okay. Okay, so let me just,
All right.
let me run down the list because there are appointments on here that don't need a vote, but we are going to put them in anyway, okay? So we're having Steve Schmidt, board president, Paul Meeks, vice president, Keith White, treasurer. We would have to appoint Jeff Waite as the board secretary, Claudia Merritt as the recording secretary, Recreation and Facility Program Committee, Dorothy Coletta, Parks and Facility Maintenance Committee, Mark Mano, Administration and Finance Committee, Keith White, Manassa Board of Directors, Jeff Waite, alternate Marty O'Brien, Museum Council, Mark, all right, the Superintendent of Recreation, and myself, would be on that as well. The Morton Grove Baseball and Softball Association, Dorothy Coletta and Elizabeth McCann. And then the Morton Grove AYSO Representative Paul Meeks with Elizabeth McCann. Okay. So, we're going to vote as a block. Does anybody have? All right? Okay.
Commissioner Schmidt?
Aye.
Commissioner Manna?
Aye.
Commissioner White?
Aye.
Commissioner Coletta? Commissioner Meeks?
Aye.
Great.
That's all I have.
All right.
Parks and Facilities Maintenance Committee, Commissioner Meeks. Move on to Commissioner comments. Commissioner White.
I just wanted to say thank you to Ken coming in and voicing your opinion. We appreciate that. We usually have any people coming to our meetings, so it's nice to hear that someone's coming and wants to speak up.
Yeah, the door will be
Never be
locked.
shy. The door is always open. I just wanted to extend my condolences to Jeanette Nichols on her passing of her grandmother. I also spoke to Jeff and Marty before the meeting about doing a little more detailing on some of our vouchers, which we're going to work on. I also noticed that we were up in our revenue in the pool memberships to date, $16,000. Another good thing I saw was our team sessions are up in enrollment, which is good to see. And also our, as we discussed previously, our camp enrollment is up 68 people for the 4th session. So it's a good way to be in a good direction.
Yes, it is.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Meeks.
Yes, I also want to thank Ken for coming in, because if you don't come in, people don't come into the meeting, we don't know how you feel. So I really appreciate you voicing your opinion here. I also want to give my condolences to Jeanette McNichols. And I think this is a pretty exciting